And welcome again to the Dave LewAllen Podcast. We cover sports stories, newsmakers, and difference makers in our communities and across the state of Michigan. You find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you go to get your favorite podcasts. And we hope that we're one of those favorite podcasts. Today, our topic is college hockey, and it is a pleasure to welcome the National Hockey Coach of the Year in college, the head coach of the Western Michigan University Broncos, the national champion Western Michigan Broncos. Pat Ferschweiler is my guest today on the Dave LewAllen Podcast. Coach, thank you for the time and congratulations on what has been a storybook season for you, for your guys, and most importantly, right, for your university as well.
100%. No, I'm very proud to represent Western Michigan University as a proud alum and former captain myself. I really believe in this place, and tremendous group of young men this year gave everything they had every day, did all we asked, and it turned out with a national championship. And like I said, couldn't be more happy or proud of this group.
And this group was really building to this season and to that moment, right? I mean, since you took over, NCAA appearances each year, building a foundation. They were ready.
They were ready, and it's an interesting thing. As we have had some success since I've been back here, and so it's not a Cinderella story by any means. But we did have a unique thing this year. We had 10 freshmen and 6 transfers, so 16 new players on a roster is pretty big. But that might just be today's sports, college sports, right? The rosters are way more fluid than they used to be, and but it was a group with tremendous leadership from inside the room that really helped them come together, not only quickly but very well.
And I want to talk about the changing landscape of college athletics and college hockey, but how do you do that? You mentioned the leadership, Tim Washi from Clarkston down in our area as your captain, but how do you bring in so many new faces and bring them together, into a cohesive unit?
Well, one, we're a principle-based program, so we don't have a bunch of slogans on the walls and all this stuff. We believe in this, believe in this, believe in this. We're principle-based, and it's a simple, repeatable process that we go through every year. But Tim Washi and our leadership group was the key to our early success for sure. Because I don't think any player in any sport, anywhere, can be at his best unless he's comfortable in that locker room. And with 10 freshmen, 6 transfers, what Tim did is make everyone feel included and comfortable very early in the locker room. So that kind of made my job and our start easier. Now they can be the best versions of themselves. They can feel free to be themselves. And once they do that, now we just can mold them and shape them and get everybody on the same page, which we did really quickly. It's a group that loves hockey. It's a group that loves to come to the rink and work every day. And once you start to love that process of getting better, now it's just fuel for you to get better and better every day, and our group really had that this year.
So you have your non-conference schedule. There's the Great Lakes Invitational Tournament, and then you're into conference play, and you rolled through that as well. And the NCHC, that is one of the premier conferences. You might argue the premier college hockey conference in the country, and what a season in conference play for your team.
An amazing season in conference play. And for those that don't know, we call it the SEC of hockey, right? So we've won 7 of the last 9 national championships our league has. And so we're really in one when we get into conference play. 24 games, we only lost 1 conference game in regulation the entire year. And so that's 19 wins is tied for the most wins ever in that conference. Really extraordinary consistency from our group of really quality play from start to finish.
And as you're going through a season like this with this group, I'm guessing that nothing that happens surprises you as a coach. I mean, with that kind of consistent effort and performance game in and game out.
Well, I challenged our group, and it's something we actually had a speaker when I was coaching with the Red Wings. It was, I've forgotten his name, and I feel really bad about that because he was a very impactful speaker. But he came in, he used to play in the NFL, and was, and got struck with Lou Gehrig's disease. And, as he came in to speak with us, he was, was in a wheelchair, and he had to have a microphone too, so we could hear him. But his impactful words were, I challenge everyone in this room to be 100% present here today, every day. And I kind of reissued that challenge to our team. And so when you're at practice, when you're in the weight room, be here. Don't think ahead. Don't think behind. And there's so many distractions in college, right? You've got school. You've got your peers. You can be easily distracted, but not while we're there. And dedicate this time. Be 100% present every moment that you're with this team. And I thought we did a great job of that. And I think that lended itself to consistency and just saying, this is our time. After this, it can be your time.
Yeah. You had the great conference tournament run. You win the conference tournament, gain the NCAA tournament berth. There were some overtime games in there as well. Exciting moments, players coming through at critical moments for you. Even in that national semifinal win to get to the championship game. I mean, what performances?
Oh, they're amazing. And, but two of those double overtime games and, 2 weeks apart were against defending national champion Denver, and they've won 2 of the last 3 national championships. As well coached as anyone in the country, David Carl does a great job with that program. They have superstars up and down their lineup. And so, we're able to win double overtime in the NCHC final. And then again in the semifinal of the national tournament, both very similar games, tight contests, teams that look like each other, great battles. I mean, if you're a college hockey fan, you should have leaned in and enjoyed both of those. They were spectacular games. But, we talk lots about here, the nerves are for the unprepared. Our team is prepared. We believe in ourselves, and that's why we stay calm in those moments and we're able to perform.
And dominant in the national championship game to win the school's first national championship.
Yeah, our guys came out confident. We had a great game plan. 2 different contrasting styles. BU again is a team that's hyper talented with a lot of high NHL draft picks and talented player. There's no doubt, and also a former NHL player and coach Jay Pandolfo does a great job there as well. But we thought we could kind of get in there and, for lack of a better word, bully them a little bit with our will. And they have tremendous skill, but I thought just our style of play and our will was going to take over that game, and certainly led by our captain, Tim Washy. That's exactly what we did.
There are Boston University and Denver and Michigan State and Michigan that, they get some of the real high profile guys who choose the college route. I don't know if Western is necessarily included in that group, but boy, you got the right formula. You're getting the right guys, to come, to buy in and perform for you, your program, and your school.
There's no doubt, and that's certainly we start with the formula here of are you a great person, and I think that's the single most thing that lends to our success. And you fill that room with a bunch of great people that love hockey. I think we have a great developmental model here, and we've talked about the process of loving to work. And I think once you get to that point where kids love to come to the rink, they have a smile on their face when they're coming in, and they know it's going to be work, but they also know it's going to help them get better and chase their dreams of playing pro hockey as well. So we got a huge record of success of developing players, moving them on to the next level. They know what we're telling them is right, and they buy into it 100%.
Well, and your captain, right after the national championship, signs with the Ducks. Alex Bump, who played a huge role for you as well, signs with the Flyers. Cam Rowe, one of your goaltenders, signing with the Blackhawks. Maybe there are others as well, but that's testament to what you're talking about there in terms of the development model.
Yeah, I think we'll have one more player sign this year. Matteo Costantini will sign. And then several players will play probably pro in Europe or things like that as well. And I think we've averaged, 5 to 6 NHL contracts each of the last now 4 years. So guys are moving on, and we're the number 1 scoring team in the country. We play an attacking style. We play pro style. As I came back from the Red Wings, I implemented lots of things from there into here. And I think it lends itself to, when pro scouts come and they watch our team, this guy knows what he's doing. He can fit in right away. And You mentioned Tim Washington not only signed with Anaheim, but he went and played literally days after winning the national championship. And Alex Bump certainly could have done the same thing contractually. Didn't quite work out for him that way, but he'll be in a Flyers uniform, I'm sure, sooner rather than later.
Pat Ferschweiler, the head coach at Western Michigan University, the national champions in college hockey, joining me on this episode of the Dave LewAllen Podcast. We talk about the opportunity. It's one and done in the NCAA tournament, of course, and your team going to the championship game, Frozen Four in St. Louis. I know your home arena, the Lawson Lunatics, are passionate about Western Michigan hockey. How about the turnout for your team and your school in St. Louis for the Frozen Four and the excitement that all of you were able to share together there?
Truly amazing support from not only our university, from the students, from the entire Kalamazoo area. Luckily enough, it's a fairly decent drive down to St. Louis, only about 5.5 hours. And honestly, when I say that those games felt like home games, especially that championship game. At 18,500 in there, sold out, and I felt like 85% or 90% going for the Broncos there. And it was interesting because you can hear them during the game, and they're pushing our players forward with their enthusiasm and their support. But the whole game, as a coach, you're looking out on the ice, and then at the end of the game, you get to go on the ice. I get to hug it out with my players and my wife and my daughter, but then for the first time, you get to look up, and that was maybe the most satisfying moment to see the support and really feel it. Because kind of all the Independents and Boston fans had left the building, but there it is, well over half full, 2/3 full with Bronco fans. Several of my former teammates, I see them up there. We're not young men anymore, but they're up there bawling. Yeah. I can literally see them crying in the stands out of obviously tears of joy. And what a satisfying, awesome, supported feeling. Not only did I got, but our entire program had.
And then the celebration, once you returned home to Kalamazoo, continued there.
Yeah, we have a world-class athletic director, Dan Bartholomew, here, and really made it a special, special moment. We're lucky enough to get a charter, and we took the charter plane home. And waiting outside the plane, the players didn't know this, but we're a number of stretch Hummer limos. And they pick us up, and they drive us around town on a preset route that had been sent out to the fans, and it was lined all the way back to Lawson Arena, and that's it's probably a 10-mile stretch, honestly. Thousands of people out, incredible support, clapping, signs, cheering. The players are out the top of the limos and out the windows waving. It was really, and then we pull into Lawson Arena, and there's a couple thousand people welcoming us there to just a special, special moment for these young men and their accomplishment.
Yeah. All right. So how do you keep it going? How do you keep the championship feeling riding in Bronco land?
Well, what you do is you don't forget what got you there.
Yeah.
And that's principle based. That's our work ethic. And I just think the secret sauce of success in anything in life is love to work at it. And we're lucky enough for the first time in several years, because we've lost the top part of our lineup to the NHL, as we did Alex Bump, as we did our captain, but we have some returning scoring, and I think a very good base for success for the start of next year. We've added in a few transfers already out of the portal. Those calls got easier this year. Yeah. Right? The yeses came faster in a great way. We think we've added some real talent there, but we also have some great looking freshmen to come in and hopefully make an impact like this year's class did. So I feel really good about our team. Our roster is basically set for next year. We might add one player. We'll see if the right player comes along. But we have a spectacular goaltender returning. Hampton Sokinski was a freshman this year, started in the national championship down the stretch, all those games. And I think he's a college hockey star and already as a freshman, and he'll play in the National Hockey League for LA Kings. So as I reminded every guy on that team as our exit meetings, and because this is our finals for Western is this week, so it ends fairly quickly here. Mm-hmm. And next year we're going to play Ferris State in our first game, and we're going to put the banner down. It's going to say national champions, and the game's not going to care that we're national champions. We're going to have to go earn that win.
Right.
We're going to have to go earn it every day. And a reminder to them before they left, this is a great feeling. Enjoy this feeling. Embrace this feeling. But also remember what got us here. And that was our investment in ourselves and our investment in each other.
Yeah, you'll definitely have a target next year. Every single game you play, hey, we're playing against the defending national champions.
There's no doubt, and it'll be the first time we're carrying that kind of flag. Again, it's I don't really believe in pressure. I think it can only be self-imposed. I believe in execution and effort, and those two things I can promise that this program will always deliver.
You mentioned the fact that you're an alum. You played for the Broncos. You were captain. You were back twice, I think, as an assistant coach. Then did the Red Wings thing, right, for Jeff Blashill, and came back. I mean, the roots are deep there, and boy, this has got to be all the more meaningful for you individually because of that time and that commitment that you've made to that program.
Well, it really is. And my time and commitment to the program, but also their time and commitment to me.
Mm-hmm.
They've invested in me and my coaching staff in a great way. And, I believe Western Michigan's a world-class university and a world-class place. And I'm a Minnesota guy, I have to be honest. When they recruited me way back in the day, kind of pre-internet, I didn't know where Western was. I had to pull up one of those paper maps, and you had to have a PhD to refold those things. But anyway, we found it and we got out here and I just fell in love with the university. I think it's a special, special place. It's kind of big enough to offer everything, but small enough where you still feel important as an individual student. And my experience here as a player was world-class, and it's never kind of left me. And, it's always felt like home to me from the start. And to be able to come back here and coach, first as assistant coach, and then, I got my experience up with the Red Wings, and something I wouldn't trade for anything in the world, because it made me a better coach for sure, and better to come back here and lead this program to the success we've had, and now getting an opportunity to come back and actually be the head coach here and see my vision kind of come to fruition. Super satisfying, and obviously it's a place where I think we've been a little shy as Broncos to say we're trying to be great. And I don't want to be shy about that. And I said that right when I came back. And we won't be great every year. We'll have a down year. There's no doubt about it. That happens in college sports. But the fact that we're trying to supply these kids with everything they need off the ice, on the ice for success, in their lives for success, and we're trying to say, listen, the Broncos are trying to be great. I think that's a statement we've been making, and I think it's a statement we've made by winning the national championship as well.
And coming down the road, a brand new arena in downtown Kalamazoo that is going to be a real showplace for your program, for the men's and women's basketball teams at Western as well. Privately funded, as I understand it. Tell me about this future home, something to look forward to for you and your team and the other teams.
Well, I'll start with Lawson Arena. The arena we play in is the arena I played in. So to me, it tugs at my heartstrings to leave Lawson, because it's on Friday and Saturday nights is as special a place as there is in college hockey. But it doesn't have everything, that the modern day player needs yet. And so we've been lucky enough that we have a big believer in town and at Bronco Athletics and Kalamazoo. And he's chose to build us a special arena and opportunity. And he just looked at me and said, Pat, this is a 100-year opportunity. I want you to think big. And I said, hey, I'm your guy. Because I still think like a player. I want to give the players everything. What would I want as a player to be successful, right? And I haven't heard a no in 2 years of working on this project. It's only been yeses.
Wow.
We've flown around the country. We've seen all the brand new arenas. And every time we would leave those arenas, the architects were with, the basketball coaches were with, and they'd say, remember, we're here to get ideas. We're not here to copy. Ours will be better than that.
Wow.
And so I've said it before. This is an arena built more with your imagination rather than a budget. It is 4 square city blocks. It's a 5,000-seat state-of-the-art arena with every amenity you could possibly imagine. It's a world-class performance area, training area for our athletes, because we need to develop. We're here in college. We're trying to create professional players with great student athletes. There's a practice facility that is big time, 750 seats. And then there's a convention center as well for the community. So true investment in the Bronco program as far as hockey and basketball goes, but also a true investment in the city of Kalamazoo, and give them a real showpiece downtown or just off the end of campus, between campus and downtown. And boy, are we excited about this. And told you before we got on, I drive by the site every now and then because they've been working on it. At first they were just moving piles of dirt around, how that happens. And now I drove by yesterday and there's some cement in the ground, and it kind of gets you excited to see. I'm really excited for that first piece of steel to go up, and really think, okay, now we've got something going here. But that size of project's going to take us basically 2 years or a little more.
Yeah.
But then we're going to have as good a building, if not better than any in college hockey, and certainly a wonderful place to call home for future Broncos teams.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Hey, Pat, let's talk a little bit about big picture of college hockey. So many changes in college athletics with the portal, with NIL, and also now, specifically as it relates to college hockey, the Canadian Hockey League players who previously were ineligible for NCAA play because of all these changes are now eligible for NCAA play. How is that? I mean, it's I guess on one hand complicated, college athletics, but is there opportunity also that can be a positive for programs like yours?
Well, there's no doubt. And you kind of hit on a number of topics there. I'll start with the Canadian Hockey League players. These are junior players that are either going to sign a pro contract or basically be done playing, maybe play Canadian University hockey, but they've opened up that this year. So that's, 700 players, a new talent pool,
right.
I would say 250 of which would be quality NCAA players, somewhere in there, 200. So we should be excited about, as college hockey people, about the depth of talent that just got opened up to us. And I think you're going to see more parity in the next, 5 and 10 years in college hockey than you've ever seen. It'll allow much more depth of talent throughout college hockey. I'm very excited about it for sure. I think it gives young men in Canada a whole nother opportunity to come down and feature their skills and get the experience of playing NCAA hockey. So in that regard, very exciting. And I think it's going to make the quality from top to bottom in college hockey much, much closer and much, much better. So I think it'll improve the overall product. There's no doubt about that. And, you touched on the NIL and some other things. It's interesting. I talked before the Frozen Four. Wasn't sure if I should say it or not, but I said, I think this might be the last team to ever make the Frozen Four or certainly win a national championship. We've never paid $1 of NIL. We've never paid $1 of Alston money. Our kids are here because they love being Broncos and they believe in what we're doing here. So that's a proud statement I can make. And now we won't even be able to say that moving forward. We do have some funds. We'll take care of our players the best we can.
Right.
But I think that's, nowadays there you certainly see programs. Football is the most public and obvious one of buying athletes and paying them. And I want every athlete to get every dollar they can possibly get. But I also want them to be fully engaged in the program they're in, to be there for the right reasons, to care about their teammates and care about, the program at a high level, not for dollars, but because they love being there and because they love their teammates. And if I think we can keep that focus, we can have a great program moving forward and still compensate the players in some fashion.
Well, and that's the challenge, right? Because we see the movement already. Football players, some in basketball as well. They're at 3 schools in 3 years. I mean, they're not engaged. They're not bought in necessarily, right? I mean, if you're always looking for greener pastures, I get the money, but do you really want those kids?
It is honestly, it's such a fluid new situation. I mean, relatively new, 3-4 years. And now the money's really increasing, especially in those sports and maybe a little bit in hockey as well. So it is a learning process for the coaches as well. And because we've never paid it, and next year we will offer some monies. How does your locker room dynamics, how are they affected?
Yeah.
I don't know those answers yet, but I will. Just again, keeping them focused, keeping them present, keeping them on task. But I think that starts with recruiting the right person. And I think when you get there and you recruit the right person, there's a lot of good hockey players. We're blessed in our sport that are maybe not great hockey players, but they're really, really good college hockey players, and they're great kids. And if you get a great mix of those, you're going to have a chance every year for success, and that's what we're going to focus on for sure.
And you mentioned the portal and that you had 6, transfers come in this year, including, your national champion game-winning goaltender and his brother, right? Also on your team. So the transfer portal, I mean, you can maybe fill holes. You can get a quick fix, potentially year to year.
Yeah.
Maybe that's good for the teams, and in some cases, it is good for the players.
It really is, and we've had success through the transfer portal in this way, and we've had so many players sign early to the NHL, and we can't always account for that. If you get a first-round draft pick, you're going to have him for 1 or 2 years. He's going to leave. That's not generally the player we get. Alex Bump is a college hockey superstar,
right,
and a massive success here, but he's a 5th-round draft pick from Philly. No one expected. Even Philly didn't quite know what they had, or they would have picked him higher. I don't want to insult that, but he turned out to be a superstar. So now after his sophomore year, he signs. And we've had a number of players sign as freshmen, sophomores, juniors. And when they leave, yes, you hope your freshmen are ready to step in and make a huge impact, which several of our freshmen did, including our goaltender, 2 defensemen, several forwards up front, made huge impacts in our program this year. And that's what you want to build your program on, is your recruiting. But to fill the immediate hole, to stay competitive, can you fill in with some other players, some other programs? And, Matteo Costantini comes to mind for me. He's at North Dakota, great program, as good as there is in college hockey. He has a tremendous freshman year, 21 points, is voted their rookie of the year on their team. The next year he falls out of favor, loses playing time. For whatever reason, doesn't really matter. He only has 3 points. He's looking for a new home. He gets to come here, revitalize his career, right? We can offer him opportunity. They're so talented and deep. They couldn't give him the opportunity we could give him. Yeah. So now he can play higher in the lineup. He can be more effective. He can revitalize his career, and has 2 great years with us, ends up being assistant captain this year, and will most likely sign here with the Buffalo Sabres shortly. Or another pro team shortly. So those are the success stories of the portal that I think are what makes it great for players. The other side of being bought and going one program to another program to another program, simply either chasing money or championships. It's how the portal is going some ways. Yeah. I don't think that's how it was intended. I think it was intended for the Matteo Costantinis of the world, for opportunity, and certainly we've had success stories in that regard.
I've enjoyed this conversation. I guess final question for you, Pat, would be, now that your team has won the national championship, and we mentioned target on the back and everybody pointing at you, but beyond that, big picture, short-term, long-term, what does this mean? What does this national championship success mean for the Bronco program going forward, in your estimation?
Well, I mentioned trying to, we've announced that we're trying to be great, but it came to fruition. It's possible here at Western Michigan. And, I think the last national championship we had in any sport was cross country back in the early 60s. And so it says, hey, Western Michigan athletics can be great. It can be great at a national stage if we invest in it, if we believe in it. The community support has been incredible, and that can't fall away. That has to stay there for us to be successful, and it helps drive us forward. There's no doubt, and we're proud. We're going to wear it with a badge of honor for sure. It's quite an accomplishment, but we're not going to rest on our laurels. We know what the foundational success is here, and that's work. We'll get back to it as soon as we can this summer and next season, but it's certainly a point of pride. And it says it's possible. Yeah.
Well, enjoy it for the time being, because, man, what memories were created on the ice. Fantastic. Pat, appreciate your time today. Thank you so very much. Again, congratulations. And how about we do this again before the next college hockey season begins?
Sounds good to me.
Thank you, Pat. Pat Ferschweiler, the head coach of the national champion Western Michigan University Broncos, joining us today on this episode of the Dave LewAllen Podcast. As always, we thank our producer-director, Josh Bauer, and most of all, you for listening, for joining us, for watching on YouTube or whatever platform is your favorite for podcasts. And share this with a friend, especially if you're a Western Michigan alum, sharing the success of your college hockey national champions. Until next time, stay safe, be kind.